Dia untuk tukar kesan tubuh. Tahan di sini. Ada dah masuk dalam pekan tu. Bila telefon balik dengan apa perkara nombor bagi tu Hai nasi ya pangkat kucing. Tidak kucing kumpul apa ni dah. Tu patah balik.
Dah lah.
Bayang.
Dah lah sikit bukan dekat.
Ya Allah.
Kami dia mudah nak sat. Kami nak mudah juga. Ada area Pullman. Kata kami pada dengan laki dia nak di Pullman. Oh okey. Message kami dengan sidak ya. Okey kita tu nak ya di Pullman no. I see. Di CCK apa jauh Pullman dari CCK. Nampak lama.
Kedua, apa orang beting dah.
Siapa?
Oh.
Dente.
Oh.
Saya rasa awal pagi nanti pukul 7.30 ke sana. Tang nampak dalam dia semua sekolah. Kami
Di kenamaan hadirin yang dihormati sekalian, seperti yang dapat kita saksikan at the main entrance persembahan tarian Selamat Datang dari Kelab Kebudayaan SMK Penrisen. Tarian asal dari suku kaum Kenyah Datun Julud bagi menyambut ketibaan tetamu kehormat kita pada hari ini. Ladies and gentlemen, a welcoming performance, dance performance of course from the dancers of SMK Penrisen Kuching. It is called Datun Julud, a traditional dance from the Kenyah tribe of Sarawak.
Kasih sayang.
Ladies and gentlemen, please a big round of applause for our guest of honor, the Right Honorable Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Dr. Abang Haji Abdul Rahman Zohari binti Dato' Abang Haji Openg, Premier of Sarawak.
Takkan pernah kau buang kasih sayang, tiada pernah kenal usia. Tua muda.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, may we all rise for the national anthem Negaraku and Sarawak state anthem Ibu Pertiwiku.
Bersatu dan maju.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please kindly be seated and thank you very much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, salam Sarawakku sayang. The Right Honourable Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Dr. Abang Haji Abdul Rahman Zohari, Bintun Datuk Abang Haji Openg, Premier of Sarawak. His Excellency Mr. Takahashi Katsuhiko, Ambassador of Japan to Malaysia. The Honourable Datuk Dr. Haji Juanda bin Jaya, Deputy Minister in Premier's Department for Integrity and Ombudsman Sarawak. Yang berbahagia Bapak Raden Sigit Widjaksono, Consul General of Republic of Indonesia in Kuching. Yang berbahagia Datuk Hamdan bin Haji Muhammad, Director of Forest Sarawak. Distinguished guests, heads of department, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the official launching ceremony of the state-level International Day of Forest 2022 with the theme Environmental Sustainability Agenda for the State Prosperity. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, so as to pray for blessings for today's ceremony, it is now with great pleasure to invite Sahibul Fadilah, Datuk Haji Mustafa Kamal bin Haji Ahmad Fauzi, Imam Besar Negeri Sarawak, to recite the doa. Dengan segala hormatnya, dipersilakan hadirin bacaan doa oleh Sahibul Fadilah Imam Besar Negeri Sarawak.
آمين آمين يا رب العالمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم ya Allah ya Tuhan kami, Tuhan yang Maha Pengasih lagi Maha Penyayang, Tuhan pentadbir sekalian alam. Ya Allah, kami sentiasa bersyukur kehadrat-Mu pada hari yang mulia ini di Majlis Sambutan Hari Hutan Antarabangsa peringkat Negeri Sarawak 2022 yang akan disempurnakan oleh Yang Amat Berhormat Premier Sarawak. Allahumma ya Allah ya Rahman ya Rahim. Ya Allah, rahmatilah dan berkatilah majlis kami ini. Jadikanlah majlis berlangsung dengan selamat dan sempurna. Mudah-mudahan tercapai segala kebaikan di dalamnya. Ya Allah, dengan sifat ihsan-Mu, kurniakanlah kepada Jabatan Hutan Negeri Sarawak sebuah agensi yang berintegriti. Pertingkatkanlah ya Allah anggota kaki tangannya dengan ilmu dan kemahiran, semangat kerja berpasokan, bantu-membantu agar dapat mendepani berbagai isu serta bersaing dalam dunia pada era digital ini. Dan kurniakanlah kepada agensi ini dengan pentadbiran dan pengurusan yang terbaik yang bertaraf dunia. Ya Allah, pandulah kami dengan petunjuk-Mu yang berterusan. Permudahkanlah segala urusan, restukanlah segala perancangan, hindarkanlah kami daripada segala kesukaran dan kepayahan, perelokkanlah segala hasil kesudahan. Allahumma ya azim wa ya syakur. Ya Allah, kurniakanlah kami sekalian dengan nikmat kesehatan dan keafiatan yang berpanjangan. Eratkanlah semangat perpaduan dan hidup penuh persefahaman di antara kami yang berbilang bangsa, budaya dan agama. Kekalkanlah ya Allah pada negeri dan negara kami dengan nikmat kestabilan, keamanan dan keselamatan. Lindungilah kami daripada segala musibah dan segala bencana alam serta wabak-wabak penyakit. Akhirnya kami memohon limpah rahmat serta taufik dan hidayah-Mu ke atas yang amat berhormat premier kami dan isteri, kepada pemimpin-pemimpin serta semua kaki tangan Jabatan Hutan Sarawak dan rakyat jelata sekalian. Allahumma ja'al jam'ana hadha jam'an marhuma wa tafaruqana min ba'dihi tafaruqan ma'suma. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adzaban nar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Thank you very much to Sahibul Fadilah Datuk Haji Mustafa Kamal bin Haji Ahmad Fauzi, Imam Besar Negeri Sarawak. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to share with you some fun facts on forests. According to a research conducted by United Nations, forests are home to about 80% of the world's terrestrial biodiversity, with more than 60,000 tree species. Around 1.6 billion people depend directly on forests for food, for shelter, energy, medicines, and income. Thus, we celebrate International Day of Forest every year to raise awareness on the importance of all types of forests and to support forest conservation by simply protect and plant a tree, or the more the better. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite you to watch this presentation on forestry in Sarawak. Dipersilakan.
Sarawak, a state with varying topographical and geological features, is endowed with vast forest resources and rich biodiversity, with significant contributions in socio-economic development and uplifting of its people. Sarawak occupies a land area of approximately 12.44 million hectares, where about 62% or 7.72 million hectares of its landmass are still under forest cover. Under the Sarawak Land Use Policy, 7 million hectares of the forested areas are allocated for sustainable forestry and conservation purposes. The forestry sector in Sarawak is under the purview of the Ministry of Natural Resources and Urban Development, while Forest Department Sarawak, FDS, is the main agency entrusted to manage the forestry operations and management in the state. FDS is committed to sustainable management of forest resources with best management practices in line with its vision to be globally recognized in sustainable forest management and its mission to manage and develop forest resources for socio-economic and environmental sustainability. All duties, functions and responsibilities in managing and regulating the development of forest areas in Sarawak are guided by the Forest Ordinance 2015, Chapter 71, and complemented by the newly formulated Sarawak Forest Policy 2019 and Malaysian Forestry Policy 2021. To enhance implementation of SFM, the Policy Direction on Forest Management Certification (FMC) in Sarawak was approved on 10th September 2019, and certification was made a mandatory requirement for all long-term forest timber licenses. To date, 13 Forest Management Units (FMUs) and 6 Forest Plantation Management Units (FPMUs) with a total area of 1.27 million hectares and 94,966 hectares respectively have been certified under the FMC policy. Forest management certification is important because the state government strongly believes on the principle of economic viable, environmentally sound and socially acceptable. Therefore, advocating responsible forestry practices is extremely important to help Sarawak gain international recognition with internationally accepted standards. Meanwhile, for planted forest LPF, 48 licenses were approved for fast-growing tree species planting programs to provide an alternative and steady source of raw materials for the wood processing industries such as plywood mills. This also helps to lessen the harvesting pressure on natural forests in line with the state's SFM efforts. As As of today, the total area planted is 552,369,000.15 hectares. The Sarawak government hopes to achieve a target of 1 million hectares of planted forest by the year 2025. To achieve the department's vision for excellence in management and conservation of tropical forests, Sarawak Forest Landscape Restoration Program was officially launched on 15th June 2019 at Sabah Agroforestry Centre by the Right Honourable Premier of Sarawak. Since January 2019, FDS has issued a directive to restoration program within all timber license areas using only indigenous tree species in upholding the state's policy on SFM. Throughout the years, rehabilitation of the natural forests had been carried out at degraded areas caused by shifting cultivation and encroachment at RPFE to ensure that Sarawak's forest remains vibrant and its complex ecosystem could carry out its natural functions. Sarawak aims to plant 35 million trees throughout the state by 2025 in support to the Greening Malaysia program. This is an effort to conserve the country's biodiversity while improving the quality of the natural environment and ecology of rivers. FDS is trying a new approach to accelerate the restoration effort by using drone technology and seed ball, where the drone will sow or drop the seed ball in targeted planting areas, especially in difficult to assess areas. The department is committed and determined in addressing forest landscape restoration issues to ensure that we could continue to enjoy the wide range of benefits from the forest resources. Persistent research on forests and its resources is indeed the key to unlocking the mystery of forest resources and biodiversity in Sarawak to ensure we have sufficient reference for conservation and sustainable forest management.
We hold the value of our forests in highest regards and recognize the importance of the sustainable forest management. This is why we do our utmost effort to manage our forests sustainably, not only to desire an optimum sustained yield, but also to strike the balance between environmental friendly approach and also to be socially beneficial by considering the well-being and acceptance of the local community. So the successful reduced impact logging practice is the heart of the sustainable forest management. In future, we hope that SFM would be a self-regulatory practice in the mind of all relevant stakeholders that include agencies, forest operators and all the local communities. As the custodians of the forest, we want to see that our forests continue to provide sustainable yields and at the same time conservation area as well, managed for our future generation to see.
FDS has been involved in many international collaborations since many decades ago to seek knowledge transfer and technical capacity development, such as the GTZ FORMIS project, ITTO, DANSET, FAO EU FLECTI program, Asia Pacific Forestry Network APFNet, China, WWF, WCS and many more. FAO funded project. The new concluded international project is the FAO funded project entitled A Gap Assessment of Reduced Impact Logging Guidelines to Support SFM in Sarawak. Through this project, new reduced impact logging guidelines has been formulated and will be implemented in 2023.
The definition of local communities contained in their guidelines refers to the need to inform forest-dependent communities about planned operation and progress of the operations. I am pleased to announce that I sent the reduced impact logging guidelines to FAO's Forest Department in Rome, and my specialized colleagues from the department have confirmed that the revised guidelines do follow international best practice.
With all the efforts and initiatives taken by Forest Department Sarawak and the support rendered by the state government, Sarawak aims to manage its forest resources sustainably to be globally recognized for environmental sustainability and prosperity of its people.
A big round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. Sarawak too is globally recognized in sustainable forest management. There you have it, the video presentation on forestry in Sarawak by Forest Department Sarawak. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, coming up next is a welcoming speech. It is now with great pleasure and honor to invite Yang Berbahagia Datuk Hamdan bin Haji Muhammad, Director of Forest Sarawak, to present his welcoming speech. Hadirin, ucapan alu-aluan oleh Yang Berbahagia Pengarah Hutan Sarawak. Dengan segala hormatnya, dipersilakan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. Very good morning. The Right Honourable Datuk Petinggi Tan Sri Dr. Abang Haji Abdul Rahman Zohari bin Tun Datuk Abang Haji Openg, the Premier of Sarawak. His Excellencies Mr. Takahashi Kazuhiko, Ambassadors of Japan to Malaysia. The Honourables Datuk Dr. Haji Juanda bin Jaya, Deputy Ministers in Premier's Departments, Integrity and Embassments. Yang berbahagia Bapak Raden Sigit Wijaksono, Indonesian Consulates to Malaysia. Yang berbahagia Datuk Indra Muhammad Reza Awang, Ketua Pengarah Jabatan Perhutanan Semenanjung Malaysia. Yang berbahagia Datuk Abdul Ghafur Saleh, Pengerusi Suruhanjaya Perkhidmatan Awam Negeri Sarawak. Head of Department, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, we are very honored to the presence of the Right Honourable Datuk Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Haji Abdul Rahman Zohari bin Tun Abang Haji Openg, the Premier of Sarawak. Thank you, sir, for taking off your busy schedule to join us today and to grace the opening of these occasions. Sarawak is blessed with the great diversities of biodiversities in its forests and other natural habitat of a varying topographical and geographical features. While focusing on economic growth and development in Sarawak, give equal emphasis to the biodiversity conservation and other environmental aspects. Out of Sarawak landmass, it is approximately 12.4 million hectares, and in year 2020, about 62% or 7.272 million hectares of the state landmass is still under the forest cover. In recognition of our forests and forest resources, Forest Department Sarawak has been celebrating the International Days of Forests since 1973. The occasion was previously known as World Forestry Days, and it wasn't until 2012 that it was renamed as the International Days of Forests by the United Nations General Assembly to unite two international commemorations, namely the World Forestry Days and Forest Day. From then onwards, International Days of Forests is celebrated worldwide on the 21st of March every year. IDF celebrates and raises awareness on the importance of all forest types around the world, and countries are encouraged to undertake effort to organize various programs involving forests and trees, such as tree planting campaigns, which are the usual practice here in Sarawak. The themes, Environmental Sustainability Agenda for the State Prosperities, is selected for this IDF this year, as it is portray the latest development in our forestry sectors. Forests provide major source of income in many countries. We are expecting to gain a new source of revenue from the forest carbon activity while improving the management of the state's forests and natural resources. This is in line with the strategic thrust in the post-COVID-19 Development Strategy 2030 and the Sustainable Development Goals on the environmental sustainability. For the information, ladies and gentlemen, the Sarawak government has recently passed amendments to its Forest Ordinance 2015, making us the first state in Malaysia to grant license for the forest carbon activities in line with efforts to mitigate the effect of climate change. So the selected themes for the IDF 2022 for the Sarawak state level is timely. Our state government has been committed to the sustainable forest management and with the best management practices for the decades. And this includes initiatives in forest landscape restoration. The Sarawak Landscape Restoration Programs was officially launched on the 15th June 2019 at the Sabal Agriculture Centres by the Right Honourable Premier of Sarawak. In addition, Sarawak aims to plant 35 million trees throughout the state by 2025 to support Malaysia Greening Campaign. This is an effort to conserve the country's biodiversity while restoring the improved degraded forested area. With the taglines towards a greener generations, Forest Department of Sarawak kick-started the Litua de Restorations campaign, which was launched by the Premier of Sarawak on the 30th of September 2021 in Kuching. Litua de Restoration is an initiative to promote the 100 million tree planting programs across Sarawak through mobile exhibitions and environmental awareness activities. The journeys, which encompassing 8 main destinations from Kuching to Lawas, has highlighted the importance of tree and forested area, cultivate the spirit of love for nature, as well as implying the call of actions among stakeholders and public to restore the degraded area in Sarawak. It also serves as a medium to publicize the commitments and spirit of maintaining the green cover within the state. Yang amat berhormat Premier, ladies and gentlemen, with all kinds of campaign and programs that emphasize on restorations, our teams has worked diligently in achieving the target set. As May this year, a total of 33 million trees has been planted nationwide, with Sarawak topping the list with 12.35 million trees. I'm expecting and looking forward to more aggressive tree planting activity to be carried out in the second half of this year. As the saying goes, alone we can do so little, together we can achieve more. We couldn't achieve our 35 million trees target without collaborations with NGOs and private sectors. I would like to take this opportunity to express our utmost gratitude to Japan's Malaysian Associations, which is led by Mr. Ogawa Takakatsu, the President of Japan's Malaysian Association. He is here actually, for the strong support and commitments given to the Forest Department of Sarawak in our tree plantings program since 1998. So it is our honor to have Mr. Ogawa and his teams together with us this morning to celebrate this annual event. Thank you very much for joining us. Arigato gozaimasu. JMA and the department has been working very closely on restoration programs, including the research in identifying suitable tree species for the area like Gunung Apeng in Kuching, Bakam in Miri, Balai Ringin in Siaran, Sampadi in Kuching, just to name a few. Sir. Based on our record, as of 2021, Japan Malaysian Associations alone has contributed more than 750,000 trees in Sarawak. We are really grateful for the contributions from the JMA, and we wish our collaborations can be continued and further enhanced. At the same time, we also welcome other NGOs, private companies, governments, and non-government organizations, schools, universities, to join us in making our Sarawak greener. Yang Amat Berhormat Premier, ladies and gentlemen, the conventional methods of tree planting does pose some limitation, particularly at the remote and inaccessible areas with tough terrains. Thus, the department has developed an innovative way of planting, combining the applications of drone technology with a seed ball, which is known as drone seeding technology. This R&D is initiated in May 2020. As of today, we have successfully dropped and thrown 71,602 seed balls at the Lubuk Ria Communal Forest in Sabal Forest Reserve and Balinyan, which is an ex-mining area. We have tested the seed ball method on 7 indigenous species, namely Kelampayan, Gerunggang, Empitat, Saweh, Terentang, Jambu Laut, and most recently, Longan. Our research team will continue to improve this method and to test using many others indigenous species. Our target this year is to produce 300,000 seed balls with the involvement of the local communities and school children. For information, ladies and gentlemen, our Ababil's drone and Sarabom seed ball have gained the Par Excellence Award at the 46th International Conventions of Quality Control Cycle 2021 at Hyderabad, India. Just a few days ago, on June 21st of June, our seed bombing for Green in Sarawak campaign project was selected as the winner of the Research and Development and Commercializations Award in the Digital Economy Award 2021. The winning of this award has inspired and motivated us to continue our journey in transforming and reshaping the way we used to work to more effective, efficient, and innovative way of working with the applications of digital-based platform. In order to ensure the continuations and technology improvement, Forest Department of Sarawak is also collaborating with Universities Putra Malaysia, UPM, Bintulu campus to enhance the drone seeding technology by looking into the development of biodegradable seed pod to speed up and improve the efficiencies and accuracy of drone seeding. The biodegradable seed pod is something that looks like a bomb or a rocket that contains some soil and nutrients to encourage the seeds to germinate and grow. By integrating biological principle with technological advancement, I believe the departments can make restorations at inaccessible areas possible. Yang Berhormat Premier, ladies and gentlemen, when talking about forests and conservation, one important and related subject is climate change. In order to have sustainable management of forest resources, we must embrace and take climate change into considerations for every decision and policy we make. As we know, forests affect climate change by acting as a sink to absorb greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide, which traps heat in the atmosphere and effectively increase the temperature on Earth's surface. The Bali Action Plan, adopted by the 13th Conference of Parties to the United Nations Framework Conventions of Climate Change, UNFCCC, in 2007, proposed that forests in developing countries to be considered as a prime tool for climate change mitigation. Activities currently addressed include reducing emissions from deforestation and forest degradations in developing countries, and conservation and enhancement of the carbon stock through sustainable forest management. Despite forest's role in mitigating the climate change, we should not forget that climate change itself is impacting the forest ecosystem, thus making it more challenging in managing them. Tropical forest management is becoming more and more challenges because they are more complex, intersecting, and in many cases, unprecedented changes in environmental causes by the human activities. In this regard, sustainable management of tropical forest resources has been recognized as a vital element for conserving the existing resources based on ensuring the continuity of the forest ecosystem services. With a forested area of more than 7 million hectares across various landscape and geographical features, it is a challenging task for the Sarawak government to monitor and ensure that forestry activities are implemented based on sustainable forest management guidelines. Therefore, Forest Department of Sarawak has leveraged on the latest technology to help manage and monitor the state forest resources through the use of the advanced sensing technology such as satellite image and reconnaissance, airborne hyperstructure sensing, LiDAR, and drone. This technology and tool help to provide accurate and timely spatial data for effective monitoring and safeguarding of Sarawak forest resources. Under the 11th Malaysia Plan, the department was instructed to be the implementing agencies to operationalize the DA42 MPP are customized airborne surveillance and mapping systems that would be utilized by the Sarawak state government as well as other government agencies. With this technology, the department has increased its operational to combat illegal logging in the state, to ensure that forest resources are protected and there are no leakage in the revenue collections. This brings us to the Rengas Komos. Continuous monitoring and civilian Komos is a digital technology-based approach that was developed in-house by the Forest Department of Sarawak in May 2019 to combat illegal logging. Komos provide data analysis through satellite observations to over-the-air verifications and mapping sectors, up to the transmissions of real-time data to the relevant officers on a daily basis to cover the entire forest area, especially in our permanent forest estate in Sarawak. Yang berhormat Premier, ladies and gentlemen, for your information, Sarawak Delta Geopark is a designated area of extraordinary landscape with a unique geological heritage. This is our geological treasures where you can explore, discover, and connect with the people and places of Sarawak. Located in the west of Sarawak, covering Kuching Division and small portions of Siaran, Sarawak Delta Geopark is a land and water territory of 3,112 square kilometers under the jurisdiction of Kuching District and Pedawan, in the small portion of Siaran Division, respectively. I am pleased to inform that the Sarawak Delta Geopark has been registered under the National Geopark Development Program as the country's 6th National Geopark during the National Geopark Steering Committees. This recognition was also announced by the Ministers of Energy and Natural Resources in press statement on the 23rd of June 2022. The recognition at the National Geopark would not change the existing development policies of the area. This recognition is another national achievement, especially the state government and the local authority in their efforts in natural resources conservation and preservation. The cooperation and collaborations of all agencies and stakeholders are very important to ensure the success of the management and the implementation of this Sarawak Delta Geopark. Yang Amat Berhormat Premier, ladies and gentlemen, recently on the 12th until 16 June 2022, we had sent our officers to attend the 19th Malaysia Forestry Conference in Kuantan, Pahang as a Sarawak delegation. Malaysian Forestry Conference is a platform where cooperations between the Forestry Department of Peninsular Malaysia, Sabah Forestry Department, and the Forest Department in Sarawak to share experience related with the administration's management, planning, and development of the forestry sectors in Malaysia is further solidified. At the 19th Malaysian Forestry Conference held recently in Kuantan, Forest Department of Sarawak has sent a strong delegation of 46 officers to present our paper as well as participating in sport and culture events. It was definitely a successful event to foster stronger and resilient bond between all the state forestry agencies in Malaysia. In conjunction with this International Day of Forest celebration in Malaysia, a series of programs were carried out, including sport events such as badminton, blowpipes, sumpit, golf, futsal, and bowling were conducted to foster networking and relationship between forestry-related agencies in the state. Besides that, tree planting programs are also being conducted throughout the states, while the exhibitions by the forestry-related agencies is also being held here at this venue, so feel free to give a visit while you are here. There is also an awareness program on forest landscape restorations with hands-on sections on seed ball making prepared for the secondary school children, which will be carried out tomorrow in conjunction with this event. As with the annual celebration of IDF, we try to connect and bring more agencies to collaborate with us to improve the sustainable management of our forest resources. So for today, we have several memorandum of understanding, MOU, to be signed and exchanged with the agencies such as Jabatan Perhutanan Semenanjung Malaysia, Forest Research Institute of Malaysia, FRIM, Worldwide Fund for Nature Malaysia, WWF, and the Japan-Malaysia Association, JMA. I hope that this will mark the beginning of the fruitful collaborations with these agencies. Coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is a progress. Working together is a success. Let's continue to work hand in hand to achieve and uphold the environmental sustainability agenda for the state prosperity. With that, I would like to thank and congratulate all the community members and agencies involved for the organizing this year International Days of Forest and for making it a success. Thank you very much.
Join us in making Sarawak greener. Alhamdulillah. Majlis merakamkan ucapan terima kasih, our highest appreciation and thank you very much to Yang Berbahagia Datuk Hamdan bin Haji Muhammad, Director of Forest Sarawak, for his welcoming speech. Ladies and gentlemen, our next highlight is a speech by our guest of honor. Thus, without further ado, please welcome the Right Honourable Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Dr. Abang Haji Abdul Rahman Zohari bin Tun Datuk Abang Haji Openg, Premier of Sarawak. Hadirin, sama-sama kita berikan tepukan yang gemuruh kepada tetamu kehormat kita, ucapan perasmian oleh Yang Amat Berhormat Premier Sarawak.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera dan salam Sarawakku sayang. Yang berhormat Saudara Datuk Dr. Haji Juanda Jaya, Timbalan Menteri kita. Yang berusaha Saudara Datuk Hamdin bin Muhammad, Pengarah Jabatan Hutan Sarawak. His Excellency Mr. Takahashi Kazuhiko, Ambassador of Japan to Malaysia. I hope I pronounce your name correctly. And Madam is that side. Yang berbahagia Bapak Raden Sigit Wijaksono, Konsul Jeneral Indonesia to Malaysia, Sarawak. Yang berbahagia Ketua Pengarah Perhutanan Semenanjung Malaysia. Yang berbahagia Datuk-Datuk, Datin-Datin, seterusnya Dividen Jemputan, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan yang saya hormati sekalian. Pertama, saya mengambil kesempatan ini untuk mengucapkan penghargaan dan terima kasih kepada pihak Jabatan Perhutanan kerana menjemput saya bersama-sama meraihkan Hari Hutan Sedunia. Saya mengucap tahniah kepada Jabatan Hutan di atas beberapa kejayaan yang telah dicapai oleh Jabatan Hutan, and therefore I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate all warga hutan for your success. Saudara-saudara sekalian, saya sambil kita merayakan Hari Hutan Sedunia, I would like to share with you only a few issues. As your pengarah has elaborated and narrated your success and what you have done in terms of improvement in the forest department. Before I came to this area, I was brought to see all the exhibit and the research that you have undertaken. And I must congratulate you for what you have done when I saw the products of your research. One issue I want to share with you is the question of climate change. Climate change is a very important issue facing the world today. We have to manage it properly, professionally, and we have to embrace whatever technology available for us to mitigate the carbon dioxide emission. The last Dewan Undangan Negeri, we have passed our law, including the Sarawak Forestry Ordinance, as well as our land code. And these two legislations are meant to help us to mitigate carbon dioxide emission. When we talk about carbon emission, of course, trees are important because the trees are the carbon stock. You all know this. And therefore, we have to manage our forestry with a view to have voluminous carbon stock, meaning to absorb the carbon and of course to produce oxygen. And this is the responsibility of the whole world. Therefore, I would like to express at this juncture my appreciation to Japan for your assistance to us to plant more trees. And I hope we will continue to plant more trees. And second is this, we have to assess it scientifically. I was informed that the mangrove swamp, they can stock carbon 3 times ordinary trees. And therefore, the Sarawak government has formed statutory body to manage our mangrove trees through the economic activity that is well managed as far as mangrove trees, mangrove areas are concerned. We form a new statutory body, Lembaga Pembangunan Sagu dan Nipah, where we will manage the production of sago and the production of nipah as an economic activity that won't jeopardize our mangrove swamp area. While you have that economic activity, at the same time, we can preserve our mangrove swamp. I'm not a forester, nor am I a scientist, but I was informed, and also through reading, that the mangrove area, even the sago, they can grow wildly. Sago palm, nipah palm, including sago palm, you cannot do it in plantation. Kenanya panih tumbuh ke diri. And therefore, based on that sort of knowledge, we can start our planning to retain our mangrove area while we manage properly the products that are obtained from our mangrove area. Inilah harapan kita as far as perhutanan dan juga kawasan-kawasan di mana kita mempunyai sustainable forest. Another issue I would like to congratulate the Forest Department is the question of sustainable forest management, SFM. Sustainable forest management plays an important role in balancing the economic, social, and environmental well-being. It is critical for improving local livelihoods, employment, environment, and the economy in general by increasing forest productivity and ecosystem services while minimizing the adverse effects of climate change. Forest management certification is the key tool for implementing SFM to make sure that it meets international standards and minimizes the environmental impact of forest operation. At this juncture, I would like to call upon the private sector, people in the timber industry, to really comply with this, because the long-term benefit will be there in terms of our timber industry, as well as in terms of managing our forests. I was told by your director that Forest Management Unit, FMU, and 6 Forest Plantation Management Unit, FPMU, with a total area of 1.27 million hectares and 94,966 hectares, respectively, have been certified under the FMC policy. Congratulations to Forest Department. Now I would like to share with you the question of carbon, forest carbon. There is a natural carbon cycle on our planet. Each year, a portion of atmospheric carbon is absorbed by the land biosphere and recirculated by the ocean. Now, the historical equilibrium is under threat. Global warming is driven by carbon dioxide, which I have mentioned earlier, and therefore it is the policy of the Sarawak government to make sure that there is a balance in terms of exploitation of our natural resources while mitigating carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. And we have to diversify our economy, taking into consideration all these scientific approaches while we develop our economy. The Sarawak government is committed towards the clean environment and also green energy. That is why we are very much involved in producing and doing research on hydrogen, so much so that we share our policy with the rest of the world on hydrogen, and God willing, we may be one of the main producer of hydrogen in this part of the world. This is something new, and I believe we can do it. By 2025-26, we'll be producing 100,000 tons of hydrogen, and 10,000 tons will be retained for Sarawak use. Hopefully by then kita pakai motor hydrogen lah, dan kita tidak ada lagi mengeluarkan carbon dioxide. And that is our aim, and we will collaborate with developed countries yang sudah banyak mengeluarkan karbon di atmosphere. So, Ambassador Excellency, we can work together, and you can buy hydrogen from us. Ladies and gentlemen, to conclude, I hope this yearly event will continue to celebrate our beautiful forests and the priceless ecosystem services that they provide us. This International Day of Forest celebration also provides an important platform for sharing knowledge and awareness with the general public. I also would like to congratulate you, Forest Department, for setting up this research center. This is my first time coming here, and I was really attracted and impressed by the research undertaken by Forest Department. Banyak daun kecil-kecil tadi ada dipadah dengan saya, kulat nak yang boleh jadi ubat. And this is something that we have to really do in deep research. Saya ada melihat tadi mengenai dengan orchid. Orchid tu mahal. Saya pergi ke negeri Belanda. Belanda ngeluar banyak bunga. Mun bunga orchid kedaya berpanda gagahnya. Bermaknanya the market is there. Jadi hari tu saya janji dengan Datuk Hamdin, I want to give seed capital for you to have a model orchid garden, so that the private sector can learn from you how to produce orchid dan juga bunga-bunga yang lain yang ada di sini. For a start, I give you 5 million ringgit. Kerana saya tu suka dengan research, dengan penyidikan. Tapi saya mau tahu orchid mesti dapat dijual dalam masa 2 tahun. Kerana that's part of our research. Dan tadi saya juga naga banyak daun-daun yang saya si kenal. Padu ada juga sikit daun nama saya. Si tahu nama saya ada siapa. I think I need to plant that those trees di rumah saya lah. Dan ini adalah satu pada penyidikan kita. Dan kalau kita mempunyai spesies yang banyak, maka soalan carbon dioxide ni dapat kita tackle. Sebab itu saya ucap tahniahlah kerana ada research center. Mari situ apa? PIT ke? PIT dah? PIT dah ada, Luli dah mbak sinun. Di situ ada, jadi saya rasa bahawa we have to invest in R&D, and forestry can be a very important research institute beside our Sarawak Biodiversity center. As you know, I have set up what we call infectious disease center, research center. Reganya pun 200 juta. Kena tu dalam implementation, and we need all this because we have this biodiversity resource that can become a basis for us to develop our pharmaceutical industry. For all you know, ada ubat untuk melawan virus COVID nanti. For all you know. Dan infectious disease tu sentiasa ada. COVID tu baru. Tak kelak ada COVID kah lagi namanya. Jadi we must prepare to have scientific research in order to combat any new diseases. Jadi dengan itu saya mengucap tahniah dan cabas kepada Jabatan Perhutanan dan di hari ulang tahun Perhutanan Antarabangsa, biarlah kita bekerjasama untuk masa depan yang cerah dan masa depan yang sentiasa hijau untuk dinikmati oleh orang yang tinggal dalam planet ini. Sekian, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much. And may we invite our guest of honor to please remain on stage for our next highlight. And also may we invite our distinguished guests at the main table to join and accompany our guest of honor on stage for the symbolic launching of the International Day of Forest 2022. Persilakan. Hadirin yang dihormati sekalian, sama-sama kita saksikan upacara simbolik perasmian Hari Hutan Antarabangsa bagi tahun 2022 yang akan disempurnakan oleh Yang Amat Berhormat Premier Sarawak. And now may we invite the Right Honourable Premier of Sarawak to do the honour to later on to symbolically insert the billion tree seat slot into the podium to mark the launch of the International Day of Forest 2022. Dipersilakan. A big round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. It is now official. The International Day of Forest 2022 with the theme Environmental Sustainability Agenda for the State Prosperity. And now may we invite our guest of honor and the rest of distinguished guests to the center stage for us to proceed with our next agenda. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, next highlight is the MOU and MOA exchange ceremony in conjunction with the International Day of Forest 2022 between Forest Department Sarawak and its strategic partners. And this ceremony is to be witnessed by the Right Honourable Premier of Sarawak. Ladies and gentlemen, let's begin our first MOU exchange between Forest Department Sarawak and Forestry Department of Peninsula Malaysia or Jabatan Perhutanan Semenanjung Malaysia, JPSM. Dipersilakan representing FDS is Yang Berbahagia Datuk Hamdin bin Haji Muhammad, Director of Forest Sarawak, and from JPSM is Yang Berbahagia Datuk Indra Muhammad Reza bin Awang, Director General of the Forestry Department Peninsula Malaysia. And this MOU is a collaboration on the forestry training conducted by Forest Training Institute Kapong, and throughout the previous collaboration, 3 groups of students from Sarawak has successfully completed the forestry training. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the MOU exchange ceremony between Forest Department Sarawak and Forestry Department of Peninsular Malaysia. Congratulations. And next, ladies and gentlemen, is the Memorandum of Agreement to exchange between Forest Department Sarawak and Forest Research Institute Malaysia, FRIM Incorporated, Sdn Bhd. Dipersilakan Encik Nur Azmi bin Mat Said, the chairman of FRIM Incorporated, Sdn Bhd. Ladies and gentlemen, the MOU is on the Forest Resources Inventory Project at Permanent Forest of Sarawak Phase 3. Once again, congratulations to Forest Department Sarawak and FRIM Incorporated, Sdn Bhd. And next MOU exchange is between Forest Department Sarawak and Worldwide Fund for Nature Malaysia, WWF. May we invite on stage Madam Sophia Lim, CEO of WWF Malaysia. And this MOU, ladies and gentlemen, is on the understanding between both parties to promote, strengthen and develop collaborative efforts for Sarawak in achieving its conservation goals and objectives, namely environmental protection and management in priority conservation areas. Once again, congratulations to Forest Department Sarawak and Worldwide Fund for Nature Malaysia, WWF. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, is the MOU exchange between Forest Department Sarawak and Japan-Malaysia Association. May we invite on stage Mr. Ogawa Takakazu, President of Japan-Malaysia Association, and also on stage is His Excellency Mr. Takahashi Katsuhiko, the Ambassador of Japan to Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen, this MOU is to explore collaboration on the forest landscape restoration, aiming for restoring the degraded forest area in the permanent forest area. Congratulations to Forest Department Sarawak and Japan-Malaysia Association. There we have it, MOU and MOA exchange ceremony between Forest Department Sarawak and its strategic partners in conjunction with the International Day of Forest 2022. Another big round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. And now is the memento presentation to our guest of honor. Silakan Yang Berbahagia, Director of Forest Sarawak, to present this special memento to the Right Honourable Premier of Sarawak as a gesture of appreciation for his gracious presence here today with us, celebrating the International Day of Forest 2022. That's a photo of the Right Honourable Premier of Sarawak at the Lot Tour of the Restoration Bintulu on the 9th of November last year. Si berasa. Alhamdulillah, thank you very much. And may we invite our guest of honor and accompanied by our distinguished guests on stage back to the main table. But first, let's have the photo session. Yes. The photo session with our guest of honor and our distinguished guests, as well as the Forest Department Sarawak and its strategic partners for the MOU and the MOA exchange ceremony today in conjunction with the International Day of Forest 2022. Big smile, everyone. Alhamdulillah. Yes, thumbs up, definitely. Shukr, Alhamdulillah, and once again, congratulations to Forest Department Sarawak for this beautiful, gracious event today, celebrating the International Day of Forest 2022. Silakan kembali ke meja utama untuk diteruskan acara majlis. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, lunch is served, so please enjoy your lunch. Silakan hadirin untuk menjamu selera. Jamuan makan tengah hari disediakan untuk anda semua.